Hey all, hope you all are doing good. So today we are going to do the day 18th task, the bits of Christmas, and this is something to do with the low level language that we have seen previously, like where we were dealing with the machine level code, the binaries and all. So basically we were decompiling and trying to do all that stuff, right? So that was like completely at the machine level. Now we are going a step ahead and we are trying to decompiling the created application, and now we are not going to deal with the machine level instructions, so but we are going to decompile the application and we are going to see what all things we can find it out and how it can be useful. So today's thing is the bits of Christmas story, day 18. So let's see what we have to do. Like I'm connected to this lab via OpenVPN, and I started deployment because it's a Windows machine, so it is going to take 5 to 10 minutes to actually get the connection established and the complete deployment. So I've started it already, and there we go. So silly Santa forget his password yet again, complains Elf McEager. How it is in fact Elf McEager who is silly for not creating a way to reset Santa's password. Santa need to get back into the dashboard for Christmas. Can you help McEager reverse engineer the TBFC application? So okay, so to retrieve the password for Santa, yes, we have deployed. Now you got your hands dirty with everything, and that is radar, the R2 command console that we have used in previous lab. That is radar 2 yesterday. Today, however, we are going to be taking a look at more interactive approach of disassembling an application. So if you have seen previously, we were disassembling a single function using a DSF command, but DSF and PDF. Okay, so now PDF disassembling function. So now we are going to use completely GUI. We are not going to write any command for this lab, and let's go ahead. So yes, due to compatibility and long history, the .NET framework is a popular platform for software developers to develop a software with anything Windows or web. .NET will cover it. Okay, for example, I developed my answer to Microsoft's calculator in .NET. Okay, this is quite trivial use of .NET, but hey, it works, trust me on this one. Okay, yeah, while you may want to take a good look behind the code of this application, there are some that may be of interest as in the challenge today. Let's take a look at the application below. So basically there's a portal, we enter a username and it's validates the password. While running an application, we are asked for an input in username. This begs the question, how does the application know what username password is right or wrong? The application must know the answer. Applications that are created using .NET can be disassembled using ILSpy or .tppek. Loading our calculator application into ILSpy, verify that it is indeed a .NET application. Okay, we see some metadata about the one that we are decompiling, and then we can say what kind of application it is, and after expanding the resources we can see references to the elements. Okay, so it's just like components of a React view. We have elements in .NET, and we can see, okay, maybe there are some functional level things that we are seeing or file level things. So we'll try to dig deep and we'll try to explore. Okay, so when looking through the objects, ILSpy has helpfully been able to recreate what some of the source code behind the application is. Okay, so maybe it is possible that we will not get an end-to-end code, but yes, the part which is required or the business logic, that might be like up to some percentage. Okay, so here's the challenge: deploy the instance attached to this task. Okay, yes, we have deployed and it's been already 5 minutes, so I hope the deployment of Windows have been done successfully. And log in using the remote desktop protocol. Open this application tbfc.exe on the desktop. Okay, so it is on the desktop of the victim. Okay, I mean on the Windows, not the one that we are connected right now. So we'll try to connect to it using the RDP, and the username is cmnatic, advent of cyber is password, and then we have to open Remenia. Okay, so I'm not going to use this attack box. I'm simply going to continue with the OpenVPN. So here in my system it was not there by default, and I hope if the situation is same, simply do sudo apt get install Remenia. So the distribution is kind of different, but the overall functionality and is same, and I think maybe there are some new features added to the one that we are installing now, or I don't know, that one is old or the one that we are installing old, but as per the lab whatever is required, it's there. So let's go ahead, and Reminia will ask you for password. Okay, let's try to open Reminia first. If I go here and rem, yeah, this the icon is different, so I'm not sure which one is the latest one. So okay, the login key, no, we don't want any kind of session to be created, so we are going to give the RDP, which is nothing but our victim, that is 10 10 14 1 10 10 14 1. Okay, no, it's not 0. Let me just cross this 14 1, and yes, I accept the certificate, and the username was cmnatic, and what's the password? Let's scroll up. Advent of cyber with exclamation. So let's give that advent of cyber exclamation. And okay, if it is success, yes, we are able to connect now. So let me try to maximize it, and I hope the internal content will also get maximized. So we'll wait. Yeah, there we go. So this is the application TBFC, which we are going to try to debug and find the password of Santa that he has lost. No, we are good. I don't need all this. Just open my application. Yeah, this is the TBFC application, and let's say password is Dpoint, and submit. Oh, that's the wrong key. So somehow it validated that the credential they entered is not valid, and some statement was there. Okay, if this is not true, this has to be. So this are the points that we are going to debug in the code. So let's open ILSpy shortcut, and we can use dotppek. Now as per the lab, they are suggesting that dotppek is more intuitive, so if time permits, we'll go for that as well. But let's now focus on ILSpy. It is taking so much time. Okay, so let's maximize this. I hope the font is visible. View, let me try to zoom in a bit. Okay, it's fine. So let's open file, open, and our shortcut is there on desktop, so we'll simply open the TBFC app and we'll say open. Okay, now let's get back to our this thing once, and we are connected to Reminia. Yes, and I think this dialog box didn't came for us, so by default I think the color depth would be that, or it has something to do with the connection or not. No, it's simply a color depth, so I think that should be fine. So then we have entered. Yes, now open the TBFC and begin decompiling the code. Yes, we have done this. Now we have to find what is Santa's password, and after finding the password we have to log in and find out what is the flag. So only these two. It's a small challenge. So let's open our this again. Now we can see TBFC application is decompiled successfully, and we can just log into each of them, finding okay, this is the resource, crack me. Okay, what's the internal content? So this is some level of indexing, and out of which, okay, I can see something about crack me. So the whole intention that we are trying to debug is somehow the application knows the password, and when we enter something, it validates whether it's the same or no, and then based on that it displays a statement that you are welcome or it's not wrong. So we have to find that, and that's how we are going to get the credential. So about form, that should not, the name itself says nothing. So main form, so label key, table layouts. Okay, this might be the components on that elements. Okay, let's scroll down, and we can see something like, okay, main form, initialize component, form is load. Okay, this might be the close button, this might be the about button, and then we have something called activate click. So this might be something of our use, because when we enter something like activate, where we use is when we are done with this page and we have given something and then we are submitting, or okay, it means kind of activate. So if we simply click on that, we'll maybe control click. Okay, let's open and see the content. Plus, okay, text box. Okay, it is getting something from the text box, and then it is using pointers, and it is using the location or a value to validate, and then if it is true, then it is giving us welcome Santa, here's your flag, that's the right key. Otherwise it is saying oh, that's the wrong key. So this thing we have seen, right? Let's open this again, TBFC app, and give Dpoint, submit. We see oh, that's the wrong key. So let's open, and that's what we are getting when it is wrong. But otherwise, if it is fine, then we are getting return with this welcome Santa message. And I think we got the flag before even finding the password. So let's try to get this. Tryhackme, copy, and give the flag first. So still we have to find the password. So let's scroll this down and get back to our application again. And I think this is a pointer and joint b2, so it's comparing b with the b2, and we have b, this pointer 2, that is the value that we are getting, and b2 is 115, or is it fixed? It seems that it is getting this from somewhere, and I see some password also here, but I don't know whether at the rate is a part, or from where the value is starting. So what we can do is, we can see, okay, there's this pointer and we have pointer 2, and that's what the comparison is happening. We can see pointer 2 and then pointer 2 is comparison. That's how the increment is happening in the pointers, and finally if everything is same, then it's continue, and we are seeing message box show this. So now we are sure that as per this, pointer 2 is something, the value that we are getting from the text box, and pointer is something which is our password. So compile service unsafe as pointer, refer to some module, and this. So let's open this, and it is taking us to some different place, a module, and this modules are part of an empty reference. Okay, so this might be some kind of hidden stuff. Process, token, callback, evaluations, priorities. Okay, this might be something which can be okay. So these are some hidden resources. Now we can see that this is something called static. Now if we see that we have this is some kind of value, and still I am not sure whether the at the rate is part of it, or CBB is part of the rate, 0BB is part of the rate, or from where the value is starting. Maybe if you are a .NET developer, you will be able to identify how you give the value, but here I am not able to identify that from where the password is starting and from where the password is ending. So not supported data is this. So here I can see that I have something like 736174, and I have something till F. So it's like 0 to F means hexadecimal. So let's copy this data and copy. Let's try to open our this. Okay, hex decoder. Okay, yeah, hex to text, and let's, like, we got the password already, but we don't know from where it is starting, from where it is ending. So hex decode, and if we scroll down, we see something like Santa password @3. Okay, and this seems to be a garbage value at the last. I don't think that is to be password. So let's count this, because hex will be like 4444 in that partitions it will be divided. So 1 2 3 4, then 1 2 3 4 till 73, then 1 2 3 4, and then 1 2 3 4. Okay, so this must be that we call it some term injecting to like fill some space, so that we have an overvalue all the default values of the empty spaces. So this thing has some terminology called, yeah, stuffing. That is called as stuffing. So it's basically if there is an empty space, or if suppose we have, okay, suppose 4 partitions are there for each value of hex, and we have only 2 at the last. No, that is not possible, because altogether 4 is from 1, so 1 count of x. So in that case we stuff with 0 zeros at the end. Similarly, if have more space, but we don't want to have any value in the space, we go for the something called stuffing. So stuffing is simply putting zeros at the non-required places. So let's try to decode it again, and there we go. Now this time that garbage value is not there, so it's basically Santa password 321. So let's go to our application. It's not minimizing. Okay, yeah. Santa password 3 2 1. And welcome Santa, here's your flag. Okay, flag, we already found it. As expected, that sentence should be reflected on the Windows dialog, and that is what we are getting. So Santa password 321 is our flag. So let's go back to our Chrome, I mean Firefox, and try to enter Santa password 321. Submit. Okay, so we are good with the slab. This was a small kind of debugging application, not at the very machine level that we did in previous lab. So I hope this was interesting. Now make sure before you exit you click on the terminate, because they are giving us something valuable resource. So let's make a better use of it and just close it if it is not required. And make sure we also disconnect. Like today it was not required, but if we are connecting, make sure we also do the dis, because again this we are unnecessary forming our connections, and we don't want any kind of open connections if it is not required. Okay, that was not a part of lab. Okay, so here is the thing. Today we completed the day 18, that was the bits of Christmas. And if you like the explanation, please do subscribe, click on notification bell, and share with people who are interested in this domain and are trying to work on tryhackme or trying to learn similar cybersecurity concepts. And if there is anything that you have tried out something new, please do mention in the comment section. And if any other suggestions or any modification in the explanation, anything that you want to suggest, please do mention in the comment section, and practice as much as possible. That's it. Thank you.